It has been many a stage, many a finale. Oh, hang on, we'll try that again, everybody. Here we go. It's the final round of the season, the ARLTC. This is Daytona here on the iRacing Esports Network. And we're here at the site of many a finale in this Thursday Night Touring Car Championship. And that's what I was going to say anyway. And this has been the site of some tremendous moments, some nail-biting finishes, some controversy, and some drama over the years. And we're here once more to crown a champion in the Apex Racing League Touring Car Championship. Hello, everybody. I'm Andrew Woodhouse, and inside the commentary box with me, and hopefully not making such a mess over his words as I have, is Adam Bath. And Adam, well, we're here again, mate. We say it every time we come here. We always look forward to this finale because it just provides so much action.
And if the practice session that we were watching just before we came on air and the qualifying session itself is anything to go by, I think we could be in for one of the craziest season finales we've ever had. These guys are now used to the Audi RS3. We had a taster of it in the Winter Series. We've had this championship as well. And the championship order is exceptionally close. And we were talking as well before we came on air that Wojciech Savinovic, he's won pretty much the last few titles going back all the way, to 2015. But we still reckon he could still have an outside chance. It's that close as the point standings now show.
Yeah, we can see them on the screen. And I wouldn't put it past Wojciech Savinovic to win a title whenever he's in contention, that's for sure. Ross Balfour, though, leads the way. It's a good championship if you call Ross, that is for sure, because Balfour leads 12 points ahead of McFarlane, and we've seen them during the season provide the pace and the consistency. Josh Thompson is up there. Now, you know, he's a bit of a wild card in all this because he's not been necessarily racking up the wins, Adam, massively, but he's been there in pretty much every race in the top 10.
Yeah, he's really improved this season. His rig looks pretty good as well. I think I saw a picture of that on his social media today, the Williams Esports driver outside from this series. So watch out for him. It's been quite a while coming for him to be involved in a title fight. And as those championship standings show, he's only 21 points away. So a good qualifying here, which it looks like it is set to be at the moment. He's on provisional pole. That could help springboard him towards potentially a first title as we take a look at the state of play in the AM category. And Pete Newman has got a bit of a healthy advantage. He's about 80 or so points ahead of Mark Johnston in second.
Yeah, he's a bit like the Leeds United of the AM category, isn't he, Pete Newman? He's just ahead of the pack, just by enough of a margin, but still not quite enough where the nerves might not creep in. And Pete's experience, so I feel like he's got a great chance of wrapping up the AM category today. There is some good competition, of course, in that series. We can see some of the AMs up there in qualifying. Woodhouse, Hedgecock, Field, they're all in the top 10. And currently, Adam, it's Thompson setting the pace, and it's by quite a distance as well. That's nearly 0.2 of a second, which is quite a large margin around this Daytona International Circuit.
Really is. I don't know how much that will transfer across to the race, of course, because it will be just one massive slipstream train after that. But that is a very decent lap by Josh Thompson. And he's got himself to the final round of the championship. And now he'll be hoping that he can use this to his advantage here. Jake Blackhall as well. Very, very good lap time as well by the Aussie. We often see him in the top 10, but to be on the front row of the grid with 4 and a bit minutes to go is very promising as well for the CQR club driver.
He's been qualifying better and better all season, he really has, and moving towards the front every time. We know he's quick, we know he's got the ability, but often his connection and things like that have let him down. Let's see what he can do today. Adam, in a year where race meetings have been disrupted and we've just had an example of the Austrian Grand Prix of being a strange season opener, this Daytona race, in the past, in the big pro series that we used to be held in December, and here we are in July with this race, and incidentally, also NASCAR are coming here soon to this very circuit, which is quite fun to see in the same week now.
Yeah, that came out of the blue. Really, I didn't see that announcement until the other day. The Indianapolis road course was very good for the Xfinity cars on the weekend. So these infield courses, they tend to provide some good action. So we've seen it in the past here, especially in race 3, of course, when the lights come on, the floodlights come on, and the championship's at stake in that third and final race. So, yeah, expect fireworks in this one as the qualifying session continues.
Yeah, I can't imagine many of the viewers here on the iRacing Esports Network or indeed on Apex Racing TV and our YouTube channel have not seen a race around a Roval style circuit before. But if you haven't, well, it is a different dynamic to a lot of more traditional sort of purpose-built road courses in that you've got the big long banked section, you've got slipstreaming battles that are going to take place, you've got the fast chicanes at the back of the circuit, and you've also got some fairly tricky corners, Adam, like turn 1 and also the corner leading onto the back straight, which you have to make, you have to negotiate the banking, you have to negotiate difficult braking zones in quite tight confines.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of an easier task than the Charlotte Roval, which if anybody tuned in for our Israel League coverage on Monday, my word, we're lucky we had anybody finishing in that one.
That's a lot busier, that one, though, isn't it? The corners
Yeah.
come at you quite thick and fast, I would say.
Plus, you have not much time at all between the exit of the turn 2 on the banking and the chicane there. So at least on this one, you've got time to shape up an opponent before you get there. The bus stop chicane itself on this circuit, that's an overtaking opportunity, but get it wrong and you're heading straight for a tyre barrier. There is very little runoff area there. And if not that, you'll be picking up a slowdown, which on a super speedway like this, you're going to really get hampered. As here is the reigning champion. Could he be the outgoing champion tonight? And it's not often we get to say that. He's currently 13th on the grid, is Wojciech Savidovic, and he'll be hoping in the final 20 seconds or so that he's able to get himself up into the top 10.
Well, for our sins, we did think the same thing at the end of the previous season, and look who's still got the number 1 on his car. So, his famous last words, isn't it, to kind of Wojciech Savidovic? He's going to need to get a better qualifying lap, and he does cross the line, and he doesn't improve. So he's going to be starting his title defense from 13th place. Could have mentioned Sam Kumar on the cameras as well. He's going to bring us all the footage from Daytona here tonight, so we know that we're going to see some fantastic pictures. And of course, Adam, it's very likely as well, considering how many times that we've covered these races, that we're going to start in the bright sunlight, and we're probably going to end up in the night time as well, which provides its own challenges. And we've seen some banging and crashing, shall we say, under the floodlights in the past.
I think they were getting that practice in the actual practice session earlier. Yeah. When the floodlights come down, we'll probably get a full reverse grid as well, just to throw it in. That'll just be the way it will work.
About right.
And the top, some titles may be decided as well, and some drivers will just be having at it just for pride in getting some points on the board in that final race.
Well, as you said earlier on, as we both said, it's very likely that maybe the AM category might be decided by then. So it'll be interesting to see if those guys get turned loose during the proceedings today. As you can see, you can hear actually, we're on board with Ben Palmer as he crosses the line, and he actually doesn't improve. So he stays 10th and he spins. I think there's a bit of help with the handbrake there. Bit of a love-in at CQR there. That's how touring cars reproduce, ladies and gentlemen. That is the CQR. That's how there's so many CQR cars on the grid, because that happens. That happens a lot, unfortunately. Parental advisory, everybody, and just as an automaker, I've obviously been getting in on the act as well. As there's 4 of them in our shot. There's a bit of tomfoolery going on. It's a bit of an end of term feel, as they always like to say, for the final meeting of the season. But Adam, final pole position of this season goes to Josh Thompson, the first season of 2020.
We have spoken to him over the last few weeks as well, so we've got to know him quite well. Just watching those drivers come over the line as well. Photo finishes, that is something we could factor into the equation as well for tonight. Sebastian Job and Wojciech Savidovic, 2 big names there. They were separated, in a dead heat in the end in 2015 in race 1. It was Job that got it by whatever iRacing determines when it's a dead heat. I was involved in something similar as well in a NASCAR Legends race.
And we had the nonsense. We had the nonsense, of course, with Andreas Katz and Ash Sutton in the finale a couple of years ago as well. So we know that anything can indeed happen at Daytona.
Here's the grid then. It's 30. There are 34 cars set to take to the start here, and it's Josh Thompson on pole. 1/10 exactly behind is Michael Evdoka. Then it's Jake Blackall, Dave Baker, Ross McFarlane, and Jack Sedgwick completing the top 6. Pete Newman, Jason Cooper, Mark Woodhouse, and Ben Palmer round out the top 10, with Adam Hedgecock in 11th, and Simon Field in 12th. Moving on back, 13th place, Wojciech Stawidowicz, the reigning champion there on the second page of the grid graphic. 14th for Pete Harris, 15th Ross Balfour. Not often we've seen him that far down. He's been quite good in recent weeks as Ross. Luke Cooper, 16th place. 17th Adam Hadfield, then George Simmons, Mark Johnston, and Jack Stiles rounding out the top 20. 21st, Ben Gregory, then Jamie Rushworth, Ash Sutton there in 23rd. Could he have something to say in the closing stages of the campaign? Then Craig Williams, 24th. Tim Grevin in 25th. Matt Bunn in 26th place. Tyler Vickery at his home track in 27th, then Lee Berridge, John Roberts, and Rob Graham in 30th. Kip Stevens, 31st. 32nd is Sean Gardner, then David Von Breck, Nathan Davis for Hesketh Racing, and that is how they will line up for the first race of the evening. Don't forget we'll have a reverse grid, and also because it is a banked circuit here at Daytona, we're going to be having a rolling start for this one as opposed to the usual standing start.
Thankfully, the rolling start is taking place on the back straight, though, so that is quite good. That saves a bit of time. There's a few big names who really had a shocking qualifying. I remember Ross Balfour was saying to us last week, though, that obviously he doesn't have any teammates, so he wouldn't have been getting any kind of slipstream advantage or any sort of tow round the lap on his qualifying attempt. So that's probably explains his low qualifying position. Not so much for Stawidowicz or Sutton, though. I'm surprised that they're so low down. Rushworth down in 21st as well. I mean, is there some kind of changing of the guard almost going on, Adam? Because, you've got... We've said of the rise of Jason Cooper this season. You look at Mark Woodhouse up there, Simon Field, and Adam Hedgecock boosted. Obviously, have a good car here as well. Is it the case that maybe it's not quite as clear cut as it used to be in this championship?
I don't know whether there's a different kind of tactic you've got to use around tracks like this when it comes to getting the qualifying done. Obviously, guys like Ross Balfour, they're going to be on their own in terms of being privateers. They're not going to have too much in the way of help, the slipstream. But very interesting indeed. Yes, Sutton and Rushworth down there as safety car gets ready to come into the pits.
Here we go then. Well, this is the final first race start of the season here in the ARL Touring Car Championship, and the finale begins now. As the green flag flies here at Daytona once more, the warriors of the ARLTC are going to battle. They're going into turn 1, nicely behaved. That looks good through there. It doesn't look like much contact. They are 3 wide in the background, though. There is potential through this little kink section, Adam, that problems can happen. There's a Craig Setup Shop car on the grass in the background, but apart from that, it seems like everybody has negotiated that fairly well.
Yeah, good start by everybody. Nobody having to tow back to the pits at this stage. Now going through the kink on the infield section. This is where some things can not end totally well, as Jason Cooper and
Simmons
Newman.
Well, Simmons was on the grass and he's gone tumbling down the order. I think he's collided with... He collected somebody going into the tight right-hander. He was on the grass and therefore out of control on the way. And it could be Mike Johnston, by the way, that the damage is showing on the front of his Hesketh Racing car. As we look at... we look at Adam Hadfield making his way onto the banking. He's behind Jack Stiles. So the championship leader, Ross Balfour, is in 15th place. After the start, we're on board with Hadfield then, going through the banking. Thompson still leads. It's just by 1/10 of a second from Evdoka. It's very close at the front. And look at this. Look how tightly packed they are going into the bus stop.
Hadfield's car looked like it had a bit of damage there. Simmons too. It was crabbing appallingly through the final part of the infield. And you're right, Josh Thompson getting off to the best possible start. Michael Evdoka.
Wow.
That is Hadfield. So it's gone from bad to worse. Not only the damage, and also off his Lee Berridge.
On the Lee Berridge, sorry, yeah. Very similar boosted cars. Johnston looks like he's dropping down as well. He's been passed by Sean Gardner, but here comes Michael Evdoka then. He's on the outside of Thompson, and he's going to reach the timing line first, and we know how important that can be on the final lap, and we'll watch out for that one. It's very difficult to break away on this Daytona International Speedway because, of course, that last section is very banked. Oh, of course, Blackhall.
Yeah, tips into
Blackhall around.
I think it was
stationary.
And
well, the stationary Blackhall. I wondered if he could have maybe got going on a tighter line, tried to, do a rejoin, but these cars are tough to turn around. The turning circle not particularly great, as we saw last week, actually, didn't we? Watching this race.
Whatever you do, don't get Ranganathan in the car. Coming into.
Surprised you didn't pick him for an easy challenge in the one game, but there we have it. Here comes Thompson. Still leading then, Josh Thompson, and this is great for his championship with Balfour down in 14th. Let's make no bones about it. Savidovic down in 12th. McFarlane is 4th. You see him there with the red wheels on the Texense Fitstein Motorsport car. He will be looking for a podium here, surely, because that will be the best way towards getting him a title, his first. He's a teams champion. He won it with V
Racer.
That was it. And he won it with V Racer a couple of years ago. He's never won the individual title. He was challenging for it that year. I think he did finish in the top 5, but he's a Scotsman looking forward to the challenge, I'm sure, as he always approaches it with honour and with effort. But he's got a lot of effort to keep this man behind him. And this is a guy who's really on the charge tonight, Adam, because he is more of an outside bet now, Jack Sedgwick, but he could still do it.
He's trying to shift some moves here.
Was there slight contact between Evdoka and Thompson maybe going into the first corner? I'm not quite sure, but it looked like there may have been a little nudge. He might have been trying to unsettle the Craig Setup Shop car with the Williams Esports livery on it. And up the inside for McFarlane then. He's just taken Dave Baker, so that's a former champion that he's passed.
Yeah, it looked very close going into that first corner, I must say, between Evdoka and Thompson there. But yeah, fantastic scrap going on here for places on the podium. I do wonder how many teams that have actually been and gone in our time of covering this series. I'd have to try and
I guess we could probably go and find out if we really wanted to. We might be able to do that for next season. Sutton and Rushworth exchanging positions in the very background for CQR, but Sutton is technically still a championship contender, but he would need an apocalypse essentially probably to win the title. With Sutton, he's about 150 points behind at least. But here's the battle at the front then. Evdoka tucking in right behind Thompson. Can the Texans Fitstein Motorsport duo do? Oh, here comes McFarlane then. He's going to try and go through on Evdoka. Evdoka does not fight that one too hard. And he's going to slot in now. This is going to be important, Adam, because he can now be the rear gunner for McFarlane.
Indeed he can. Biggest movers in the field so far. Sean Gardner up 9 places. 6 places gained for Ash Sutton, along with Matt Bunn and Tyler Vickery. So places gained in the midfield. But you're right, yeah, Evdoka now into 4th place. Dave Baker versus Jack Sedgwick, a classic CQR versus Apex battle going on here as they come over the line.
Yeah, that's been the norm for the last few seasons. Baker with a good qualifying, up in 4th. He's often a bit up and down in qualifying, is Baker, but good one here. Stays ahead of Sedgwick. Now Sedgwick is coming under pressure from Jason Cooper, and one thing Jason Cooper has proved, and this is especially for the viewers who've never watched this championship before, is Jason Cooper is for real. We weren't sure at the start of the season, were we, Adam, when we saw him up at the front for Automech, whether he could sustain the challenge over a full campaign, but boy has he ever.
Yeah, Automech have really come on leaps and bounds. This last season was almost a prelude to what they could achieve. This season they were getting into top 10s, getting potential positions, and now here they are with a chance of...
and that is Woodhouse. Wow, we saw him spinning around and bouncing up and down, and Well, he's not going to actually lose many places, bizarrely, from that one. It's in the kink. And does he get a quarter panel? Does he receive one from car 4, Pete Harrod? Oh,
God, that was a big one. Even though he didn't go in with much speed, he did hit that Armco barrier quite hard.
I was going to say, I'm surprised he got away with it. Has he got away with it? Well, we'll only find out probably at the end of the race, I would say. Here's Wojciech Svidovic then, and he's gaining nicely on Simon Field, showing good straight line speed in the Apex Racing UK car. Apex Racing team car, I should say. Dear me, what year am I in? But through the bus stop. Balfour with the fastest lap of the race. We've seen him. So this is the reigning champion and the current championship leader, and this is what we've been waiting for.
Yeah. Of course, in qualifying, he didn't have much help in terms of slipstream, I'm guessing, because the fact that he is racing for himself, he's not got any team with him. But now he's right in the slipstream of Wojciech Svidovic, and these two are hoping to get some more positions throughout the second half of the race. As Michael
here we go.
In the front.
Lap traffic, Adam.
Yeah.
Mark Johnston is going to have to get well out of the way. I hope he does just bail out of the way, because we don't want this lead battle ruined by a lapped car, and he does exactly that. Well done. Good driving by Johnston. He knows he's not in this battle, and he's done well to just remove himself from the equation. Now, the beautiful thing about Svidovic and Balfour battle that we were looking at, is look at that camera angle. That's a great camera shot, isn't it? The camera shakes as the cars go past, but yeah, the great thing about Svidovic versus Balfour is neither man can hang about. They can't just wait for the reverse grid and see what happens. Like, they have to make moves. McFarlane has pretty much erased Ross Balfour's lead as it stands.
And with McFarlane in the lead, yeah, that is quite big as we approach the halfway part of the race. You can pretty much see the
healthy lead as well.
Yeah, well, healthy. We say about 0.2 of a second, don't we? Over
healthy by this track standards.
It's true. It's almost not worth having a gap here, because it just means that it'll get closed down as Baker got the inside of Sedgwick into the chicane. Wow. There might have been the slightest touch between the two, and Sedgwick gets back through.
That was brave from Jack. It was very, very good indeed. Very well executed through the bus stop chicane, the scene of many moves in the finale in the past. Cooper then. He wants to go up to the high line, and so does Palmer. Palmer might be able to box Cooper in here. I think Cooper might regret not going up to the top while he could. We've all been there in a super speedway, Adam, that you try to get out, and by the time you try, that gap has closed, but he very bravely slots back in. And there is all sorts going on here. There are so many strategies and so many sort of technical moves that they have to make in this this kind of, it's effectively pack racing, this, isn't it?
The quarter panels in these touring cars are so lethal that when you're watching them go through turn 3 and turn 4, they're on the banking and they're getting so close to one another. I was really hoping it wouldn't end in disaster for them, and fortunately these guys know what they're doing. And here's Jason Cooper, who's trying to fend off the likes of Ben Palmer and the Pro-Am leader Pete Newman, who is comfortably in the Pro-Am lead, because the next highest Pro-Am car after that is Simon Fields, who's in 11th.
The Fields just taken Ross Balfour, so that is big. That is big. That's another point or two that Balfour is going to lose out to McFarlane if things stay the way that they are. Fastest second sector of the race for Jack Sedgwick on the previous lap, as Field and Balfour go door to door. Field's now going to get a nice slipstream off of Svidovic. And Svidovic, well, he's not really making any progress, is he? But you get the feeling, Adam, it's kind of like these DRS trains that you sometimes get in the F1 races, where slipstream's so prevalent of the car in front, of course, you can't really get a great run yourself.
And of course, I think we saw it at one of the tracks we were at a couple of weeks ago, that they'll start bouncing off the rev limiter soon enough as they get towards the end of the straight.
That was something that the drivers mentioned to us in the, I think it was Josh, wasn't it, who mentioned in the post-race interview last week that that was probably going to be quite important. Ash Sutton has made solid ground up. Maybe not the sort of unbelievable starts that we're used to seeing from him, but certainly a good one. As that Avdoka's got past Thompson into second place. Well, at least over the line he has. Now, can he physically get through on Thompson? I don't know. Josh is going to try and defend the inside. Sedgwick sliding the car around under braking as he struggles to contain that Apex Racing team car. As the force is applied on the brakes here. It is a hard, heavy braking zone into turn 1 here at Daytona. As Avdoka, now this is going to be interesting, Adam. How much is Avdoka going to get the elbows out on this one? I reckon quite a lot, because if McFarlane can get a gap, then that is, you know, I know there's 2 races to go, but it could be one hand on the trophy.
Yeah, and even though it's race 1, you're thinking to yourself, how early do you go for it? Because you don't want to throw it all away straight away.
Mate, I find it hard enough. I find it hard enough just talking about it. I can't begin to think about the strategy of when to make a move to the front and when not to. I think, I mean, if I know how you race, I think you would just go for it, and I think I probably would as well. But whether that's the right decision, I really do not know. I'm the sort of person who, you know, I did a Daytona 500 once. I stayed at the back for 175 laps. As soon as I tried to make my way to the front, they all crashed. So my judgment isn't the one really to be looking at, as Sedgwick's trying to go around the outside. Remember, Sedgwick's still in the title hunt, even though it's a bit more difficult for him than it was a couple of weeks ago, that's for sure.
Good run by Dave Baker there on the exit at the bus stop chicane. He might be able to get a decent chance this time. Riding on board with Baker, he slots back in behind. Let's see whenabouts do they start to hit the rev limiter as Sedgwick starts to line up Thompson in front of us. He's going for it as well.
Double slipstream for Baker.
There you go.
246 kph. Nice fast though, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, if you think, oh, these are touring cars, they're not moving very quickly. Well, if you stood in front of it, if something hit you doing 240 odd kilometers an hour, then you would certainly know about it. That, for instance, is the speed of a world-class tennis serve, or it's, you know, a golf shot. Oh, and there, off goes Newman. That's the AM Championship leader, off. And it looks like with damage, and he's stopping the car, Adam. Is he? Oh, no, he isn't. He's just trying not to get disqualified.
Yeah, he might be serving a slowdown penalty.
Did he collide with Ross Balfour? Or did Ross Balfour avoid it? Oh, it's with Wojciech Savinovic. Savinovic slams into the wall. Hard in the right corner. Balfour does go off the track, Adam, but I think he's largely undamaged unless he goes and collects Simon Field at the next hairpin.
Here it is.
He's on board with Savinovic.
So he's on the... I think he might come across the front, I don't know.
I think I don't know. I'd be interested to see if Balfour hits someone at the next... I think he might have just avoided it, you know, Ross. And he's done a good job to do just that. Balfour and Sutton managed to survive that one as well, as they go toe-to-toe now. Now Sutton, as we said, he needs to pretty much win all 3 races. I wouldn't necessarily put it past him, but he needs to win 3 races and hope for some major problems in order to get close to his first ARLTC championship. And well, I'll tell you what, Adam, we've only had 15 minutes of racing. We've got an hour's worth of racing tonight, and you know, 1/4 of the way through, and we've already seen thrills and spills. It's been brilliant so far.
And Jack Sedgwick has been slowly moving his way forward, and he could be about to get one more place here as he tries to get by Michael Avdoka over the line.
Sedgwick's been quick in this one.
Wow.
He hasn't qualified magnificently over the last couple of meetings, but on his right-hand side there, he has got an overlap on Avdoka, and by the league rules, Avdoka cannot turn in on him, at least not legally anyway. And he's trying to hold off Sedgwick and park the car on the apex to just see if he can just allow McFarlane to eke away a few tenths of a second, maybe the crucial tenths of a second to allow him to take the win here in race 1. Of course, if he does win race 1, Adam, it doesn't mean that the job's done, not by any stretch of the imagination, because Thompson's in 4th. He's championship contender, as is Sedgwick. Savinovic is still in the top 10, even with the damage. Balfour's just overtaken Rushworth up to 12th. So, you know, There's so many permutations, but what it will do is massively help McFarlane. It will take maybe a tiny bit of the pressure off going into races 2 and 3.
Definitely. Of course, the reverse grid might have a say in that. Here comes Michael Evdoka then. Well, here comes Jack Sedgwick once again trying to take the second place off Michael Evdoka.
What an overspeed by Sedgwick. You can see the difference. And now they're having to box him in, look.
Ooh, and they do touch, I think, there. Door to door going into the chicane.
How many contacts have we seen there over the years? The Sutton Cats incident happened right at that point where those two might have just banged wheels. 0.8 of a second for McFarlane. It might only take one more of these side-by-side moments between Michael Evdoka and Jack Sedgwick in order for Ross McFarlane to be home free in this race 1. Josh Thompson, he's sitting there patiently. I tell you what, one thing has impressed me massively about Josh Thompson in this championship is how he has played the long game. We used to say to him years ago, I mean, I'm sure it wasn't just us that said big picture driving is the key to winning a title. And the picture that he sees now is one of turmoil as he spun round in the middle of the hairpin. And, he just about survives it, but down to 7th place, Adam. He did not need that. Well,
it all began with Thompson pushing as up the inside there goes Palmer on Cooper.
That's a great move by Palmer.
Baker as well is in issues as well. It all started with Thompson bump drafting Jack Sedgwick up into 2nd place, and then he all got involved in a whole load of other mess. So
yeah.
He may have helped Sedgwick out, but he's now back down to 7th place. He could try and get some of these positions back in the closing, 1.5 laps.
I can't call this one really, because Sedgwick getting up into 2nd place now means that McFarlane is under threat once more. And well, we'll see what Jack can do. Can he overhaul the gap? Well, I have no doubt that he can. 1 minute to go. We are going to get another lap, aren't we? I'm almost certain we are. 50 seconds to go. Might be reasonably close, but we'll have to keep an eye on it. I'm pretty sure they'll be okay though, Adam.
Yeah, they should get there in time.
Here we go then. They're most likely going to get the white flag when they come round this time. Around NASCAR turn 4 they come onto the tri-oval. Yep, there will be one more lap. There is a lapped car in front of them, maybe about 5 seconds ahead. That is Lee Berridge in the boosted car. Here comes Jack Sedgwick then, and he is ahead, going over the line just, or is he? Did he lead that lap? I actually don't know. It was very, very close indeed. But that's what we might see in just about 2 minutes time, Adam, because that's what can happen as Sedgwick's on the grass trying to get past Evdoka, as Evdoka made the move in turn 1. And Sedgwick might have been lucky he didn't get a slowdown penalty for that, because he was right on the inside.
Very, very close, wasn't it? Up the inside goes Evdoka again, trying to keep that Texense Fitstar Motorsport 1-2.
I'll give him credit though, Evdoka, Adam, because I've seen some people as in the rear gunning position get quite dirty in situations like this. He hasn't so far. We'll see if he does decide to apply the chrome horn, shall we say. It wouldn't be necessarily a terrible opportunity to do so from his point of view. Jack Sedgwick, who just missed out on the title in 2019. Well, he'll be hoping and praying that this one goes clean to the end. And here we go. We're on to the banking for the last time, Adam. It is going to be one of those finishes, I think.
Here we go. There's still the bus stop chicane to go, of course, and Sedgwick's going for the inside line this time. We've often seen him use the outside going into the bus stop on this lap, on the previous laps.
Well, this is the classic question. Has he gone too early? He's even the final corner, even making a move into the final corner of the circuit, going too early. We'll see. So, race 1 in the finale of the first season of the 2020 Apex Racing League Touring Car Championship comes down to this. Round NASCAR turn 3 and turn 4. McFarlane going very, very high. He's going to swoop down. He's going to use the gravity of the banking to get an overspeed. Can he go to the inside? No, he can't. Cedric blocks him off. Into the tri-oval they come then for the final time. Who's going to take the win? Is it going to be McFarlane or is it going to be Cedric? I'm watching the timing screen. It's very, very close. Is it going to be Ben Palmer? And it was McFarlane by 6/100ths of a second. Ben Palmer steals second place away from Evdoka. Sedgwick fourth in all that, Adam. Unbelievable. I think he did go too early.
Wow, what a finish that was. And in the end, yeah, Cedric finishing off the podium. And look at this, drag race between David Van Breck and Stevens.
Palmer flashing the lights, and why not? If you'd have told me he would finish second in all that, I wouldn't have believed you. That was great.
I think Van Breck was just ahead of Stevens there in the end. Photo finish. Jake Blackwell in the end finished 23rd.
Still kicking off between Grevin and Williams. I don't know if they've actually crashed into each other, did they? The teammates at the Craig setup shop.
Here's a replay.
Yeah. The limp over the line. Yes, so take us through this one.
Cedric doesn't get help because Evdoka then thinks, oh, I've got a chance at the middle. So he doesn't get any help whatsoever. And then...
Does he push? Oh, well, yeah. He nearly pushed him, didn't he? Oh, that was close. That was close. Cedric just didn't have any slipstream, did he? Great race, great first round of the finale, and we always tell people how good these meetings are, and that one definitely lived up to it. Good hard racing at the front, but it was clean for the majority, and that's what we appreciate here. Ben Palmer will be very, very happy with his second place. But for now, we're going to go to the reverse grid wheel. We're going to get pole position sorted nice and quickly. And, well, it's going to be over to Sam Kumo, who's going to have that ready for us. And, well, Sam, what a race. And hopefully the second one will be just as good.
Yeah, hopefully. I think I called it on the YouTube chat that usually here the outside line is favorable in the finish. So I thought it was too early to overtake in the bus stop. But let's see. Who knows what happens next time. So the wheel is spinning.
It was certainly a brave move by Cedric to do so. He had to take a chance, I guess. And is he going to be... Well, he's not going to be on pole, that's for sure. Sam, where's he going to be?
No, it's going to take a lot of bravery because it is 40.
Oh, that's as big as it's going to be. But, of course... the last classified finish is Mark Johnston, so he'll be on pole position. Hesketh Racing will be on pole at Daytona. Then it'll be George Simmons on the front row, Craig Williams in third, fourth Adam Hadfield, and fifth Rob Graham for that one.
Well, it proved that staying out of the way then managed to bear fruit for Mark Johnston because, as you say, he'll be starting on pole position for this one. Lee Berridge is the only one who finished multiple laps down. He's going to be probably quite annoyed with that because he's going to be starting at the back. But yeah, the race one winner, Ross McFarlane, you see him there, Adam, he's going to be starting in 32nd position. Unbelievable. And it's actually, has it given it to Evdoka actually over par?
Looks like it. Oh, well, yeah, dead heat. Bang on 0.061 between the two of them. Oh, I've been there. And I was on the right hand, I was on the correct side of it, fortunately. But yeah, there is the finishing order. McFarlane, Evdoka, Palmer, then Sedgwick, Baker, Cooper, Thompson, Balfour, Harrod and Rushworth completing the top 10. 11th, Ash Sutton, Jack Stiles in 12th, and 13th, Wojciech Savidovic, despite that contact with Pete Newman earlier. Hedgecock 4th, Luke Cooper 5th, then there is Newman in 16th place. He didn't lose that many places in the end. 17th for Tyler Vickery, then Sean Gardner, Matt Bunn, Mark Woodhouse, then David Von Breck, Kip Stevens in 22nd, 23rd for Jake Blackhall, then Simon Field, 25th for Ben Gregory, 26th for John Roberts, 27th for Tim Grevin, and then Rob Graham, Adam Hadfield and Craig Williams in 30th place. George Simmons 31st, 32nd for Mark Johnston, 33rd for Lee Berridge, 5 laps down, and there's Nathan Davis in the end, 9 laps down. In the end he finished 34th and last.
Okay, well, that was fantastic action, as normal here at Daytona. So join us back here after the break here on the iRacing Esports Network when we're going to have the second round of the deciding meeting in the 2020 ARLTC. And we're back on the iRacing Esports Network for round 2 of the final meeting of the opening season in 2020 of the ARL Touring Car Championship. Andrew Woodhouse, Adam Bath and Sam Kumo bringing you the action from the commentary box. And, well, Adam, race 1 was so good. We had 4 cars. It was almost like that famous Monza F1 finish, wasn't it, where, you know, 5 or 6 cars crossed the line together with just hundreds separating them. And that's the kind of racing we get here. However, throwing the curveball in now, pretty much the full reverse grid. Let's call it as it is, really.
Really is.
Overtaking is going to have to be done by the championship contenders, isn't it? Because they need the points big time.
It's a combination, and it's very tough around the circuit to do that, of trying to stay out of trouble. Because if you try and be careful around here, you're just going to get run over by someone that's behind. So they're going to have their work cut out for this one, the championship contenders. They're pretty much going to be starting right at the back. Only 2 cars were not classified. Here's how they're going to line up then. Mark Johnston starts on pole. George Simmons, who picks up some damage very early on in race 1, is going to be second. Third on the grid, Craig Williams, then Adam Hadfield, Rob Graham, Tim Grevin, John Roberts, Gregory Fields and Blackpool completing the top 10 there. 11th on the grid, Kip Stevens, David Von Breck in 12th. 13th place, Mark Woodhouse. 14th for Matt Bunn. Then it's Sean Garner, Tyler Vickery, Pete Newman starting in 17th place after a bit of contacts for the Pro-Am leader. 18th for Luke Cooper, then it's Adam Hedgecock, then it's Wojciech Savidovic in 20th. 21st for Jack Stiles, 22nd for Ash Sutton, then Jamie Rushworth, Pete Harrod. 25th on the grid, Ross Balfour, and then it's Josh Thompson, Jason Cooper, Dave Baker in 28th, Jack Sedgwick in 29th, and Ben Palmer in 30th. He and Michael Evdoka were inseparable at the finish line in race 1. It's Evdoka that starts in 31st. Then it's Ross McFarlane, the race 1 winner, in 32nd, and Lee Berridge in 33rd place.
Yeah, indeed. And, well, the drivers at the back have got, you know, they've got to negotiate the tight confines of that first sector, you know, well, it's going to be tough. It's going to be very, very tough. This race could decide the title, Adam. I mean, not mathematically, but could have a huge say in its destination.
Really could. And of course, for these guys at the front, there's an opportunity for them to get some much valuable points as in the closing stages of the season. They'll be eager to finish the season on a high, so watch out for some of these guys as well.
Yeah, they don't want to finish it like flying up in the air or in an Armco barrier or something like that.
No.
If they can help it. We are going to try to figure out the points, you know, for you if we can. But what I will say is all results tonight are provisional, pending penalties. So if we can't give you a definitive answer as to who the champion is, then you just have to stay tuned to socials and things like that, because yeah, the stewards panel is in effect as normal as we do go racing again here for race 2. But I did have to get that one out because it is an important point. It's not completely done and dusted when the flag falls. Unfortunately, we'd rather it was, Adam, but don't always get our wish, do we?
No, we don't. And here we go into the hairpin then. Woodhouse looking at Mark Woodhouse in 14th place. Who picked up a big knock in race 1 when he hit the Onco barrier. He wants to get his race meeting back on track, and he was making some early moves as there go the field, flying down the back straight and into, well, in the infield anyway. And Josh Thompson's a man on the move. He's already trying to get past Ross Balfour here.
Yeah, the field nicely in one piece so far. So far is the key, though. Thompson and Balfour, yeah, going at it in the tight corners in the infield section. That is Dave Baker trying to make his way through as well in car 6. And it's very tight in these slow corners in the infield section. Look how they're fanning out. People taking different lines onto the banking. Several ways of attacking that. What do you prefer going up there? Do you prefer to try and take the high line and straighten the car out, or do you want to minimise the impact of the hill?
I'd be doing what Thompson did, trying to hang it out round the outside and then maybe trying to cut back underneath. But he's so far alongside that, with the help of Ross Balfour as well, they're going to stream by Sean Garner there, who hasn't had the best start. He's already down 12 places as the boosted car going into the chicane.
Yeah, Sean Gardner's a good driver, but he didn't have any help, did he, going into the chicane?
Oh, it's going to be a bottleneck here. There was a boosted car off, and it's going to mean everybody's going to scatter going onto the banking again. Look at Thompson, he's on the grass. He's below the
Pope.
apron.
Well, he is below the apron now. Will he have the grip, and how will he rejoin the course proper? He's certainly losing time, Adam. Obviously, the banking does help you go faster. You know, Captain Obvious over there, but Thompson, that's a big loss for Thompson, a huge L in that situation. Balfour goes through. George Simmons leads the way, by the way. We haven't really looked at the front of the field, so apologies to them. But Simmons Savinovic sideways, and that is also Matt Bunn off too.
I heard the contact. Yeah, it's not been his race meeting, has it?
Usually everything goes right for him, doesn't it? But
yeah, but it is.
Who's that trying to go all the way around the outside? Oh, the crazy thing is, I think that was Rushworth trying to go with what we call, what Capcom would call the Super Mega Ultra Alex Simpson line, EX plus Alpha or something. And Rushworth actually got away with that nonsense and survives it to be in 15th place. But here's the leader then, George Simmons. And, well, what can he do? The Apex Racing Academy car. Well, not a lot to fight against Craig Williams on this occasion, but down he comes. Back into the slipstream. His experience is Simmons. Johnston challenging on the inside as well. Johnston's going to send it. This is going to be problems. Williams goes over the grass. Johnston goes sideways. He loses it. There's going to be at least probably a couple of slowdown penalties there, Adam. That was all a bit messy, and Johnston decided to absolutely throw it into the bus stop, and Williams just took avoiding action. That was all he could do, really. Here's Greven as well, behind Hadfield. Williams is now serving his slowdown penalty.
Yeah, that explains it. He leaves these guys to fight away then. Hadfield leads over the line. Vast contrast to what was going on in race 1, where he was picking up damage and was off at the bus stop chicane. This time he's leading a race.
Passes lap for Woodhouse, 58.809. On lap 2, good lap for Mark Woodhouse, up to 9th. So that's a good improvement actually, up 4 places from where he started. Pete Newman's up 9 places from where he started in 17th. He did okay in the first race, did Newman. I think it was 16th for him. And he's almost safe, isn't he, really? If he gets a good finish here, Adam, he's pretty much wrapped it up, hasn't he, Pete?
And that's even with when his life flashed before his eyes in race 1, where he had that contact with Savinovic as well. And right now, yeah, he's sat fourth in the AM category already, and he's got one of them sat directly in front of him in Ben Gregory. So he's in the perfect spot at the moment, is Pete Newman, and with the race settling down nicely at the moment, the packs aren't really tightly congested as we saw in the early stages of race 1. He can afford to take a bit more time here as they go onto the banking.
Yeah, Ben Gregory's been there, seen there, done it, and got the t-shirt or whatever it is, and he's been doing this for quite some time now. How many finales has he taken part in? It must be 6 or 7 at this track, and so he knows how it goes. All these veterans know how to play it. John Roberts is in there in P6. Good run for John. Boosted car. He's going to try and go 3 wide with Blackhall. Now they have to watch Blackhall because, you know, Australian connection doesn't always help in these close quarters situations, Adam. We have seen it before. It's the irony of him driving for close quarters racing, isn't it, really? Is that he can't really get close to anybody on the track. Because, and not by his fault either, by the way, we have to say that.
I don't know whether it's CQR, like the crap Q-bar rating or something. But then you've got to apply that to the rest of the team. Up the inside goes Pete Newman. And it's
I've got nothing for that. That's won the season, is that?
Rob Graham leaves the AM category. Blackhall's losing a bit of speed here. I think he's just trying to slot back in.
Well, Roberts and Gregory getting close to each other as well, and behind them in the background is Ash Sutton. He usually takes very few prisoners out on the circuit. A few years ago, I'd have said he takes none, but calmed down somewhat since then, as Ash. And here's Gregory, and up the inside for Woodhouse having a storming race. And he's going to looks like he's going to take 8th away from Gregory, is Mark Woodhouse.
Oh,
looking
very
good,
bumpy.
that Team Mad car out there, Adam. It's looking quick as well, even though most of his team seems to have disappeared off the face of the earth. Woodhouse is flying the flag well.
Really is.
Automatic car going up to the top there. Who's that?
That's Kip Stevens.
Kip Stevens having a good run. Yeah, excellent.
Yeah, he had a photo finish in race 1, and he's back at it again here. Into the bus stop chicane is Gregory going to go up the inside of Woodhouse. Newman's trying to get by somebody in front of them.
Well, we're talking about people who've seen many finales of the series, and Kip Stevens, I think, has seen them all. He's very experienced and very skilled in this TCR car. Every now and again as well, Adam, he just pops up and reminds us how good he can be. I wonder if tonight is going to be one of those occasions as Simmons and Greven trade the lead between them then. Going over the line, it's another near photo finish, just half a tenth in it between them, and Hadfield stalking the pair of them as well. This could be very interesting because we've seen that Simmons can be very feisty. Oh, his internet's feisty as well. We've seen that he can defend quite hard, Simmons, the last few weeks. Greven, we know, he's quite aggressive. Hadfield, he's also pretty aggressive as well. So we'll see. Cedric gets past Palmer then for 19th. Michael Evdocker's up to 13th as he's taken Adam Hedgecock, I believe that is. It's very close. Look at the timing tower. If we see the intervals, I wonder if Sam can bring the intervals up for us. Because, yeah, it's all orange, Adam. There's more orange than on Donald Trump's bed sheets, I would imagine.
I was just thinking something safe, like the McLaren garage or something, but there you go. Can't argue with that. Presidential harassment. As John Roberts and Craig Williams go at it through the final part of the infield, back onto the banking, and it's going to be the boosted motorsport car of Roberts that manages to emerge ahead. Craig Setup Shop have got quite a few cars represented in the top 10 here. They've got a Greven in seconds, then they've got a Williams here in 9th place, and Greven looks like he might be going for the lead as well, and he has got it on George Simmons going into the bus stop.
I don't think our ratings are high enough for Trump to be interested in this anyway. As Simmons goes through P2.
Whoa.
Oh, look at that nonsense. Oh, Gregory. Whoa, good save. Good save by Ben Gregory as he goes sideways through the bus stop. Lovely stuff.
Who's this arriving onto the scene as a result of all that? Yeah, that's Sutton as well. Hedgecock on the high line.
Styles, Stevens, Sutton, Hedgecock. This is a battle that could go sour, but it could also be very good. Stevens on the high side getting a bit of a shove from Hedgecock as Styles again jockeys for position behind Gregory. Oh my goodness! Oh, and Gregory's been turned again. Is he gonna? No, he doesn't. I was gonna say, is he gonna miss the pit entry? He does not. He's hit that wall. Oh, and look at that.
Stevens has got a bone to pick with what looks like a 397. That's Jack Styles.
Oh dear, I shouldn't laugh, but
I don't think he was letting him get away there. Was Kip on that situation? Here's the replay.
I shouldn't laugh or condone that behaviour. Sometimes you just have to. Here's the replay.
So
he lost it on his own, Gregory, I think, did he?
Oh, and I think that might have bent the steering potentially on the Texans Fit car.
What on earth happened? What on earth happened to Gregory? Like, he just seemed like. Have you ever seen the rear of these cars just go around like that? He didn't accidentally press the handbrake.
Yeah. I'm not sure on that one. Do you remember that GT3 race I did where the guy wouldn't let me get away from the scene of the accident in that one?
Oh, God, I remember that one. Jeez, he was there for a whole lap. I had to come round and rescue you. Well, I say rescue. It was more like, you know, nuking the whole situation, really. But, you know, he worked as
paid assassin.
The lead's changing hands again. I've noticed that Josh Thompson's dropped down to 21st. He gained a few spots, but he's battling out with Tyler Vickery down there in 21st. Wojciech Spinner was 25th Where is Ross Balfour? He's 18th. So there's not major progress being made by these championship contenders. Cedric's had a good one so far, up to 15th. Where's Ross McFarlane? 19th. So they are making progress, but the field has split so much, Adam, that, you know, that we've just got lots of little battle packs now.
What I found interesting there was that Hadfield very nearly got the lead, and I think he might have briefly led over the liners. Oh, more contact. That's one of the CQR cars.
That's
How on earth
Sutton.
does he
Oh, wow.
that?
Sutton maintains that by the skin of his teeth. That's fantastic driving by Ash Sutton. That's why he's a BTCC champion.
Oh,
and that's what. And also he saved that one too. He's been hit by Balfour. Balfour into Sedgwick. Oh, the championship contenders collide, and Sedgwick's come off the worst yet again at Daytona.
He's got back on the circuit, but he looks like he's got a bit of damage. Sutton's car's an absolute wreck, and it might not be over yet as Tyler Vickery fancies his chances of trying to get by the former BTCC champion. And Josh Thompson's in the mix there now as well.
It looked like he just got hit and hit and hit again, Sutton. Under braking. That's why he was so out of control, it looked like. Svinovic is in there as well. He's trying to salvage whatever remnants of a chance of a title that he's got by trying to get through. I think he's just got past Van Breck, but again, it's slim pickings now for Wodge, McFarlane. Now, these next three cars, what do we think, Adam? He's got, I'd say realistically, it's about 7 or 8 cars that he could get past, but that's probably it at the very max.
Into the chicane they go.
That's if he sets some of the fastest laps of the race in these last 6 minutes.
It's true. Out of the bus stop chicane we go then, and Palmer, Cooper, and Balfour all fighting for positions. And here's the fight for the lead again then. And who's this arriving on the scene? It's Pete Newman. Well, a win here in an overall win would almost certainly seal it. 3 wide across the line. I don't know who led that lap.
This is brave from Newman. I tell you, I wouldn't put my car there. But the last thing I would do is put my car on the outside of Greven and Hadfield going into a slow corner. But hey, this is what you've got to do in order to try and win the race. Hadfield's on the grass. He just about gets away with it. He sends it on the inside of Greven. They make contact, bang wheel arches. And again, Simmons is wide. He's almost on the grass himself. It's a bit lawless out there at the moment. Oh, here we go. Oh, that's a squeeze. That was a squeeze by Hadfield on Newman, the man who's leading the AM category. And like you say, wants that overall victory. He's up the inside of the Automech car in the CQR Sim Sports machine. Well, he's taken to the Audi well as Pete Newman, and in this last year or so. And he's really coming back into the form that I think that we know he has in him, that form where he can challenge for the overall competition.
Definitely has, and he has been getting better and better as the season's gone along. As Pete Newman, I wouldn't be too surprised next season if he comes back, he might have a red stripe. Oh my word, where's Greven going? He's using bits of the circuit that nobody dares use. I think if you can go below the line here, it is legal.
Oh no! Whoa! That is brave from Newman, going around the outside of anybody in the bus stop chicane. That is very brave. Greven's trying to get the cut back. Oh! And you've got to be very careful here. I'm thinking more for Newman. He's got to be careful he doesn't retire from this race, because that is the only way that he realistically could lose out on this championship. Stevens leads. Oh no, there goes Newman into the wall. That's unbelievable. We were just saying that was the only thing that could go wrong, and now he's got to rejoin somehow safely. He needs to finish the race, Adam. That is imperative. Just any points here would be better than no points.
Facing cars that are going at over 200 kilometers an hour is a brave sight to behold there.
We need to see that one. Oh, he spun on the way, trying to get back round as well. We need to see what happened. I said Stevens was leading. That was a mistake. Simmons that's leading. Sorry, that was my eyesight, I think.
No, Stevens is there. I don't know why he was in the lead. I'm trying to work out how. I think he might have been a lap down. I think it might have been a glitch on the timing screen. But here is a replay of it.
It was a glitch. I think he's towed back to the pits, hasn't he? I think.
Really not sure. But here it is again then.
Grevin comes down.
Tries to cut across,
I don't
doesn't
think
he?
there's any space there, to be honest. But that one's hard to call from that angle. I won't really judge that one too much. But Newman's lucky that he wasn't completely out of the race, Adam. Really, he's lucky that wasn't. Oh, and he spins off again, so that's big damage. He's. Oh, look, the real. Oh, there's a cone under the car apparently, according to
yeah,
Sam Kumo. So there's a cone under the CQR Sim Sports car. And I think I don't know if the left rear was down as well, potentially. But as long as he finishes one lap down, though, Adam, he will score points and he will be in contention for the reverse grid.
and because there isn't as many cars here, there is a high likelihood of there being a big reverse grid for the third and final race of the day. I did see a situation once on where on earth is Grevin going into uncharted not Tim Grevin, it's a Williams into uncharted territory.
Well, that's where Grevin was on the previous lap, so I'm not surprised that you thought it was him. 4 wide here at Daytona. Goodness me.
It's Woodhouse through the middle of everybody. Thompson's had to tow back to the pits, so big problems for the championship lead. What was the championship leader?
What the hell's happened to Thompson? Timing screen still showing Stevens in the lead. We've got no idea why that is showing that. Because we know he is certainly not in the lead.
Well, my iRacing time, the sim says that Kip Stevens is in the lead as well.
Well, this is an almighty nonsense then in that case, but we'll see what happens. I wonder if he went round and cut the whole back of the lap out, did he? Sam's going to try and find it for us. Oh, he's just cut. I think he's just driven round the back of the circuit. And somehow he finds himself in the lead. Well, I don't know if he's still on the track or not. He's just collecting cones from what we can see, but...
Thompson done. He's going to be starting at the back of the grid for race for race 3.
And that's pretty much his title. That's his title aspirations done and dusted, isn't it? Really, Thompson.
Oh, there is Kip Stevens parked up. I think he might be trying to give a lap back. I'm not sure, but
if we can get back to live pictures here, but it's. Oh
right. So he must have a penalty to serve, surely.
Well, I think he'll probably get disqualified at the end. The checkered flag is out. So who's gonna get there first? Is it gonna be George Simmons? Is it gonna be Tim Grevin? This is what we're gonna find out then. Simmons leads, and we know, Adam, from the first race that is not necessarily the place to be coming out of the bus stop.
It wasn't the best run by Tim Grevin there, was it?
No.
That might help George Simmons out just a little bit. The Apex Racing Academy coach.
That was quite a terrible run, actually, and it's not unheard of that you can make that time up in this time, but yeah, he's left himself with too much to do, Tim Grevin. So coming to the line then, George Simmons is going to take the win here at Daytona. Round 2 of the evening goes to him. Well, it does go to him. Oh, did he have a slowdown to serve, or what was he doing there? I don't know. But Stevens, we're still showing at the top of the timing screen on my screen, so I have no idea what's gone on.
It might get applied once everybody's crossed the line.
We're pretty sure that George Simmons has won the race here, ladies and gentlemen. Balfour coming through then in 12th. That's not ideal for him, but he did beat McFarlane and Savidovic, didn't he? So there you go. Sedgwick ended up 27th in the end. Thompson was out of the race. Oh, carnage there, and well, carnage in terms of the championship, Adam. I don't think it was such a badly driven race, but certainly the big names were involved in a lot of things there.
Really were, and I'd love to know what happened to Thompson. Hopefully we have a replay soon, because yeah, goodness knows what happened to the Williams Esports man, because he's going to be starting at the back of the grid for the final race. Do feel for it, because the start of the evening was so good. Here we go, here's a replay.
Sutton ended up down in 24th as well.
Turn there by Baker. Everything seemed fine there. Is something going to happen afterwards? Well, this might be it. This is car 800, I think. Around the outside. Oh, You know what? It's very Job, and it's very 2015, isn't it? That was shades of Katz and Sutton.
I'll be honest, I couldn't see that one. It wasn't showing up for me, but yeah, I can see that incident in my mind. Yeah, it was burnt onto my retinas at the time. Was that one? So
Well,
yeah, unfortunate stuff for Josh there, but he's still got one more chance. He's still potentially possible. Sorry.
still waiting for somebody to finish. I think I wonder if the Sim's waiting for Kip to come back around. I'm not sure on that one. But
still Pete Newman out on the track apparently, trying to he's trying to drag his
there we go
car to the finish. I hope those guys realise that Pete is actually trying to finish the race and not crash into him or something silly at the end.
He's run out of time.
But you can see the rear left, Adam. It's stuck in place. That wheel is not turning, so that's due to the cone. We think so.
I remember watching a clip on Facebook of somebody that got a cone. Well, there is the that might have been the cone. Of somebody got a cone that was literally fixed in the windscreen, and they were trying to shake it off, and it was just coming more and more into it, so they couldn't see where they were going. Well, Kip Stevens has been demoted in the end, so he definitely did not win the race. But it is time for the reverse grid, and after the drama that we had in race 2, I don't know if we'll be able to take what's going to happen in race 3. The championship will, of course, have been totally muddled up by all of what's happened, but let's bring Sam Kumo in, who's now going to spin the wheel and try and tell us who's going to be on pole for race 3 here.
Yeah, thanks, Adam. So the wheel is spinning, and while spinning, let me just clarify what happened there at the end. So Kip, he took a shortcut on the turn 1, and when he was then entering the pits slowly, he triggered the checker flag, which is why we got one less lap, I believe. So that also caused issue there.
Yeah.
So it is 45. So another full.
Okay, so that will be Mark Johnston on the pole position. Again, Mark Johnston on the pole position for race 3. It's a good thing they don't. Didn't they used to back in the day in F1 give out like a car or a bike or something to somebody whenever they used to get pole? He'd be picking up by quite a lot. Pete Newman, he's going to be very happy.
Runs by himself, wouldn't he?
Yeah, Pete Newman's going to be on the front row of the grid with him. Kip Stevens, by virtue of taking the flag and then getting demoted all those places, is going to be starting third for this one. Lee Berridge in 4th and Jack Sedgwick up in 5th.
Right, well, we'll see how this season comes to its conclusion then when we return here on the iRacing Esports Network. As you can see, the results cycle through on the screen. See Wojciech Swidowicz down there in 17th, Jack Sedgwick in 26th. Those guys have got some work to do in the third and final race, but we'll see how they get on the other side of the break here on the iRacing Esports Network. Welcome back to the iRacing Esports Network, and for the final time this season to the Apex Racing League Touring Car Championship. Andrew Woodhouse with Adam Bath and Sam Kumo bringing you all the coverage for Apex Racing TV. And Adam, we're here under the lights once again to the scene of many fantastic title fights over the years, and this could be another one that, if only we knew what the points were, to be honest, we'd have a ball.
We've been trying, yeah, I know. We've been trying to figure something out over the break in terms of who is where, but we're hoping to get some information on that, hopefully from some of our league admins. But yeah, I think this is going to be really interesting. The drivers, of course, have been racing during the day, and now we've been plunged into darkness here at Daytona International Speedway, and with not a full pace lap either, just a very short half a lap as one of the planes comes into land in the background. We've got used to seeing that in the past. We are set
that line usually means trouble.
A classic, yeah. Who could forget that? As here is the grid on your screen. Then for the final time this season, Mark Johnston starts on the pole for Hesketh Racing. It's not deja vu. He did that in race 2 as well. Pete Newman starts in second. Kip Stevens in third, despite missing a lap and getting a slowdown penalty and everything else. Rest of the grid on your screen then. Dave Baker in 22nd place. He knows all about these final races of the season in the past.
Oh yes, he does. Wojciech Svidovic, of course, 14th. We we still need to watch him. He's still not completely over for him.
Jeremy Rushworth down in 23rd. His teammate Dave Baker there in 22nd. He knows all about final round deciders. Ross Balfour in 20th as well. There's Josh Thompson. He's in 31st place. Ross McFarlane is starting in. Just having a look. He's starting in 18th place. So those were the top 2 going into this race meeting. And starting at the back of the grid is going to be Jack Stiles and Matt Bunn. So that's the state of play in terms of the grid as the field comes around, getting set to start the final round of the season.
Yeah, I don't particularly like guessing these things, but if I was to guess, I would guess that McFarlane has got about maybe a 40-point lead. I don't know for sure though. That's just my basic maths trying to come into it, but we'll see if we can. Well, we are going to crown a champion. The question is who here at Daytona as we go racing for the final time tonight. Stevens getting a bit swallowed up by some of the drivers in the top 10. Berridge and Sutton. Oh, Berridge has been hit. Berridge goes off wide in the boosted car, so that's gonna potentially could cause some issues in the lower order, but it seems like everybody's through okay. Gregory's on the grass in the background. He'll have to try and get that one slowed down for the right-hander, but apart from that, I'm fairly well behaved.
Yeah, good start from everybody there. Not too many places gained or lost by big drivers. Nathan Davis, Hesketh Racing could be on course for a 1-2 here if he's able to get by Pete Newman, who's starting to apply the pressure through the first sector.
Yeah, Newman looking for his AM title. He's pretty much champion-elect now that he's finished the first 2 races of the evening, even though he finished well down the order in race 2.
Oh, why?
Got enough points in race 1 to make it worthwhile for him, and this is a good battle, this. Former champion against a man who wants to be champion.
Cedric slots in below, and Pete Newman has taken the lead. Yes, he has. There you go. But Johnston's coming back on the high side, and watch out for Davis. He's in 3rd place, and he could easily close up that gap. In fact, he probably will by the time we get into the chicane.
Well, this is interesting because you've got the 2 CQRs and you've got the 2 Heskeths. As Sutton has gone missed the corner completely.
Yeah. This is good.
Maybe thinking about what he's going to have for his tee or something. I don't know, because he's gone completely wide, missed the braking point altogether and off, and as well, he's jettisoned about 13 places there as that sort of.
Did see him braking, and I was worried for a second he was going to take out a few people with him, but he has got going again and is in 18th place after that, and I think he might get passed by Ross Balfour as well as the field comes over the line to complete the first lap.
Did well not to cause any issues really, Sutton there, apart from to himself. Newman leads. Johnston 2nd, Davies 3rd, Cedric in 4th, and then 5th is Stevens, 6th is Graham. Stevens has just got past Graham, in fact. And this is Ross Balfour. Well, he was the championship leader coming into tonight. And Balfour, well, he he's had a reasonable meeting. He had a few issues, didn't he, in race 2? Not necessarily of his own making, so he could well win it still. But it's, I have a feeling he's a couple of dozen points behind, potentially.
Into the second of the horseshoes then, and Balfour boxed in really there. He's got Tyler Vickery in front of him, and he's got Dave Baker trying to go around the outside. There's action further ahead as 102 Ben Palmer was trying to get by somebody there into the final corner of the infield.
This circuit is already floodlit, but the lights adding an extra brightness and sort of visual treat really as the rest of the track is illuminated and the other cars as well, and especially with the spec maps that we see going on iRacing as well. A few shiny cars especially. Oh, and speaking of shiny cars, oh, there's a boosted car with a bonnet missing, and that was Simon Field there with a bit of damage, and that's David Van Broek. And also Sean Gardner on the outside, so boosted, having a bit of a party in the midfield. Wojciech Svidovic is just in front of them in 7th place. Oh, and we're seeing this. This used to be an old problem on iRacing, Adam, didn't it? About 5 or 6 years ago, especially with the open wheelers, where they used to get the cones stuck under the car. We feel that Simon Field has now got that happen again. This is what happened to Pete. Well, it looks like the cone has ejected.
Newman then leads, but Sedgwick is knocking on the door here, and Johnston's trying to stay in the thick of the action. He's got his teammate behind him as well in Davis, and good run from Sedgwick there, so he might fancy his chances of getting the lead going into the second of the hairpins.
Yeah, and this section of the track always makes me slightly nervous. You know, it's very narrow. It's very old school part of the track, I always think, with the fact that there's not much chance to overtake really, because, like I say, just not too much room out there. Newman driving well as he has done all season. Sedgwick's going to think about having a go into the left-hander, but decides not to. He's going to tail him onto the banking instead. That might be the best chance for Jack Sedgwick to gain the lead, but as we saw in race 1, does he want the lead? And if he does, how long is he going to give it up front before he decides that, hang on a minute, maybe I can't break away from these guys? He's getting strung out though, Adam, in fairness. Like, I feel like someone could break away in this race. It's more likely than in the first 2 rounds.
Very brave there from Sedgwick to go around the outside of Newman into the bus stop chicane, but he's got it done nonetheless.
Yeah, that was a heck of a move.
And you're right, these 2, or these 3, or maybe 4 if you include Davis, could all start to pull away from the rest of them. We'll have to wait and see what Kip Stevens can do. And Newman going for the slingshot here. He's trying to go high through turn 3 and then shoot back down and get the run off a NASCAR turn 4 here as he tries to close the gap again to Jack Sedgwick.
He has got it down to about 0.2 of a second. Crossing the line, he may be able to even get alongside the Apex car. Red Apex car, because of sponsorship reasons for Sedgwick. Johnston very deep on the brakes. Almost too deep. Davis almost has to take avoiding action behind. This is the battle for 8th. That's David Van Broek. And he's alongside Robert Graham. Oof. It's tasty in there, isn't it?
Very close. Here comes the Ultimate car then. Jason Cooper, who led a good portion of the season, led at the beginning of the Showdown as well. Things just haven't worked out for him on the occasion towards the end of the season, but he will take heart from the success he's had, and Automech will as well. Oh dear!
Oh, that's Michael Evdoka off, and that's Rushworth, and there's big damage to the Texed's Fitstyle Motorsport car. So Sutton, it seems like he's off as well, and he looked like he was in the wall.
Yeah, and it looks like season over. Sutton, here we go. Let's have a look at the replay. Look at that. Look at that gopher cam there on the inside of that kink. Oh, it started with the boosted car. And then there was the Texed. Got absolutely mullered by.
And that's done 2. Yeah, that's done 2 pure sim cars, hasn't it, in one go? And Doka, couldn't do anything about that, I don't think, really. Seemed to lose it. Tyler Vickery's got past Rushworth, who's limping home. There's a Simmons, Gregory, and you see Blackall. Cedric's getting 4/10 on Newman, but again, it's coming onto the banking, so that lead probably isn't going to stay the same. Pete Harrod's trying to make moves through the field as well. Former Kia Club Series champion on the channel 2 times.
Oof.
Oh my word! That's very close with the Automate car. Look at the Automate cars in contention though. The 2 Coopers and Graham. 3 wide in the background. And is that Balfour?
It is Balfour on the high line.
It's Balfour trying to take Baker. And he's trying to take Cooper as well. This would be a brilliant move by the Northern Irishman if he can make this one stick. Oh, he can't quite, but it was a good attempt. Tyler Vickery and Ben Gregory, I think, have had a bit of a tete-a-tete. As they say in Scotland, a square go. Had one of those. Ross McFarlane's having a good old go at the championship as well. He's P12 at the moment. It's looking like the title could be his as it stands, because I believe Ross Balfour is yet to beat McFarlane tonight. Did he beat him in race 2? It was close, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. Mine can't totally recall where they are. Thompson's at 14 places as well. He's one of the...
We can talk about the grid, can't we? So
movers.
So, oh yeah, Balfour started... Okay, Balfour did beat McFarlane by 2 places. He started 20th, McFarlane started 18th, so he did beat him in race 2, but not by enough to really mount the challenge. Cedric's having a good race, and he just can't break away at the front. You can look at the intervals, Adam. It is literally all orange or yellow from the lead to 23rd. They are all in one big train with less than a second separating all of them.
Yeah, what were we saying a couple of minutes ago about the potential for a breakaway?
Oh, where's he going to go now? Where's he going to go now? He's trying to force his way up the course. Oh, and Graham somehow survives that one. Well, I think Balfour, it was a bit of both, wasn't it, Adam? It's like Graham wouldn't let him back on. Balfour was like, well, I'm going to have to come back on at some point. You've got to give me some space. Neither of them decided to budge on that one. And in the end, we ended up with no deal, and it all worked out terribly for everyone.
Yeah, Graham might have picked up some sort of bent steering on it. I don't know, because his car's very, very slow on it afterwards. Look at this as well into turn 1. Balfour trying to get by McFarlane, 11th and 12th. Balfour had a brilliant showdown up until this race meeting. Things started off all right. He was able to gain a few positions in race 1. Here he is in race 3. He's trying to get some more places, trying to get into the top 10 potentially by getting by Ross McFarlane and then Pete Harrod, who's 2 seconds up the road.
Say if McFarlane takes this title, well, he's going to have to do it by staying ahead of and staying clean against Balfour and Baker. Svidovic is up to 5th. He's really giving it his all, Adam. He could win the last race of the season yet again. I don't think it's going to be enough for the title. But I tell you what, we've seen how many times does he win that last race or at least a race. We are getting word now. We have confirmation of the points. The abacuses have been furiously active in the break. And Sam Fitzpatrick has worked out that Ross McFarlane has a 7-point lead over Ross Balfour, so a 6-point lead before the race. And now Balfour's overtaken him.
There we go.
Here comes the charge from Balfour then. But Adam, he has to now. The problem he's got 8.5 minutes to go. He's got 3 seconds really, with only 2 cars in that 3 seconds immediately in front of him.
Well, now it's down to us to get the rule book out and work out the difference in points per positions, isn't it? I'll get away on that.
Do that if you like. I could never get those things fast enough, because everything's happening in this race as well. Jason Cooper, I think, just set the fastest lap of the race as well, 56.2. But Balfour, McFarlane, Dave Baker's on the outside as well. Cooper, Luke is behind them, and Williams. Excuse me, McFarlane defending hard now. He knows, Adam, though, if he finishes behind Balfour, then he knows that it's done and dusted for him. But if Balfour beats him if he starts getting cars in between them, that's where it could be very problematic for him.
Yeah, and I do have the point sheet. I do have the points to hand as Luke Cooper is under pressure from Thompson and the other Craig setup shop car there. That's Craig Williams. So if it was to finish where it is now, Ross Balfour would get 77 points from that finishing position, and Ross McFarlane would gain 76. So only a point difference between the places. So that's still fine for McFarlane.
It is, and he'll be happy, as long as they're in this position, he's going to be very happy indeed, because he can just slipstream Balfour. He doesn't have to worry too much. There's the sort of the next group. That's Harrod, Van Broek, Cooper, Palmer. Absolutely no slouches on their day. Quicker than these guys even when they want to be. So 3 seconds is going to be a tough ask, Adam, in what is probably going to be for 4 laps tops.
Yeah, hopefully we don't have anyone like Kit Stevens trying to shorten the time. Here we go for the race lead then, and Pete Newman, well, he hasn't gone away, has he? Jack Sedgwick took the lead earlier on, but Pete Newman, the Pro-Am leader, the Pro-Am champion-elect as well, is hoping to make sure he goes out on the seat of this season with a bang here. And so too's Johnston, who's looking at the inside into the first corner.
Well, there was almost a bang there, wasn't there? And maybe not the one that Newman, wanted to have on that final race. Wojciech Svidovic is in there in 4th place. Nathan Davies is still 5th, and Palmer and Kip Stevens is still hanging on in P7, having a good race for Automech. In fact, it's a very good race for Automech, in fact. But yeah, Newman he's pretty much won the AM title. In fact, I'm pretty sure he has, pending, Jerez 1997 disqualification shenanigans. But Johnson defending hard then from Svidovic. Svidovic won't anticipate this one. He won't appreciate this one because he wants to win this race. He does have an outside chance of the title, but he's going to need retirements from the guys behind him, as Van Broek is dropping down behind Harrod, and that's 9th and 10th under contention. Oh my! That was nearly a massive one for Palmer and Nathan Davies. Very nearly quarter pound of the amount of existence there, Adam, down the straight. It would have been a massive one.
Very close there. And I think we expected this with the Hesketh racing cars at the front. Oh my word!
Oh my God, be careful. And I know they're not directly in any championship battles. Davies and Palmer, the AM category's decided and Palmer's out of the running, but George Simmons has crashed apparently out on the circuit somewhere, but I think he was already well and truly done for in this one. Over the line we go then. Just over 4 minutes to go, so we'll get 3 more laps at the Daytona International Speedway. Davies forces his way through stays ahead of Palmer. Of course, Jason Cooper there in 7th.
All teammates take each other out. Oh dear.
No. Oh, Stevens, look at Stevens.
Thanks very much, boys.
It's a crafty dog. Up to 4th. That's like 4 places in one corner for Kip Stevens.
Well,
he'll be loving that.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Yeah, the Hesketh racing cars both collide at the first of the horseshoes. I wonder if they'll be renewing the paperwork for next season. What would you do if Matt Dushita did that to you on your F1 career?
Well, he would be done for, I think. Until I fired him, he was... Yeah, but Davies, well, great... I'll tell you what, these boys always provide great entertainment to Johnson and Davies. That's for one thing. Always in a good spirit in the races from them. Kip Stevens, though, we've got to give it up to him. And you've also got to give it up to Jack Sedgwick and Pete Newman and Wojciech Svidovic, in fact, because, well, they're all battling it out. And Wojciech Svidovic has got a history, Adam, of winning these close photo finishes.
He does, yeah. Well, he has a habit of being involved in them, I should say. Yeah, he did
Usually
win one
from
of,
about this distance away.
Oh yeah, that 2015 one, which he pretty much was a dead heat on. He came from absolutely nowhere to be involved. Here comes Sedgwick, this time doing what Newman did to him on the previous lap, and he has got a very good run.
Sensible. It worked, didn't it? And, you know, it might be a scramble for the high line, might it, on the last lap? Zvinovic is thinking about the middle. I think even now, it's not quite decided for him. And he doesn't want to throw away the points because you never quite know what can happen. And that's Kip Stevens. He's around. And Mike Johnston's gone off as well. Oh, well, that's torn it, hasn't it?
And off is, that's Johnston. Oh, dear. Well, and he's had to tow back to the pits as well, those two out of the race. Let's have a look at what happened then.
That's more points for Balfour and McFarlane, of course, but it won't really make too much difference to them.
Oh, well, Johnston had lost it before.
He got a tap, you know.
Yeah.
I think he got hit by. I think he got hit by possibly Palmer, was it? And that might have been what sent him out of control. And then this is Davies up the inside on Pete Harrod. That didn't quite work. Thompson with damage. What's happened to Josh Thompson? Came into the meeting with the chance of the title. And you know what? This meeting hasn't really been... Oh, God. He's been done of no fault of his own, has he? That was Luke Cooper who got turned round, I think, into the braking area. And Josh Thompson was the innocent victim there. Oh, it's a mess for Newman. That might be a slowdown of them. Could be.
Did take a bit of grass. Let's have a look.
Only one more lap to go.
Of the season, yeah. It looks like he's got away with it, but Jack Sedgwick has proved that he's got a mighty. If he gets a run out of this final corner, he can prove to be mighty here. But he's hanging back for now.
We saw Sedgwick wait until actually this point, pretty much, to serve his slowdown on when he had one. It was a bit later on to when he actually got it. Balfour's 2 places ahead of McFarlane, 8th versus 10th. Don't think that's quite enough for Balfour, but any more fall by the wayside, Adam, and you never know. Only 2 tenths between Balfour and McFarlane anyway, and you can see them there in that shot together. And up the inside goes Palmer on McFarlane on the final lap when you're contending for the title. The last thing you want is someone on your inside in turn 1, because of course it's pretty much end of season for everybody else who's not involved in the championship hunt. They don't care about your title. They just want to win races and get as many points as possible. This is Williams and Palmer then, and that's Simmons recovering. Oh, I think Cedric's made a mistake, you know, because Newman, I thought he did.
It's back with him.
Maybe it was just different cornering speeds, I think, where it looked like Cedric, the delta was changing massively. Look at Wojciech though, Adam. Just in that spot, isn't he, where, you know, we know he's not stupid. We know he knows where he needs to be to win these races, doesn't he? And that is about perfect.
Into the chicane.
Run through the bus stop, who knows?
We could see a similar finish to what we saw at the end of race 1 then, with the cars fanning out maybe 3 wide across the line, taking a lot of exit curve there. Here we go.
This is the Wojciech Savinovic perspective of the final round of this first season of the ARL 2020 Touring Car Championship. Pete Newman, who's going to be the AM champion, I'm sure. Jack Sedgwick, who wanted to be the individual champion, come today. And Wojciech Savinovic, who's won 6 titles. Can he claim the win on the final lap on the line? It's going to be very close, but it's going to be Jack Sedgwick. This time Savinovic is defeated, but we think Ross Balfour, Adam, is the champion. We think he is.
Yeah, there's only 2 points difference between 7th and 8th, so Ross Balfour will have only gained 2 points on that. What was it, 6 points between the two of them going into this one?
Yep.
So there you go. Finally, Wojciech Savinovic is defeated, and Ross McFarlane, as the fireworks go off, Ross McFarlane, who came close a few seasons ago. I think he was 3rd place for V Racer in the final season of the Kia. Has managed to get the title.
Can we say that Sabinovic was defeated? Can we?
Well, may as well.
Somewhere Paul Smith heard that one and
Turning in his, I don't
is
know.
not happy. Turning in his gaming chair. But yeah, McFarlane absolutely sterling job throughout the whole season. Was really, really good and really kept his head beautifully throughout the whole season. In fact, to finish second. Sabinovic will have gained quite a bit from that last result. He might have even nabbed. I want to say he might have even nabbed third. That might have gone to Sedgwick. I would say it's probably Sedgwick, but yeah, I'm sure. Like I say, we'll post the points on our social media somewhere. The final points at some point over the next week or so. But we know that Pete Newman is the AM champion. We know that Ross Balfour is the drivers' champion. Because obviously pending. What's that, Sam?
McFarlane, yeah.
Yes, he is. Sorry, yes. Made a right mess of that, haven't I? Yeah, McFarlane's the champion. Sorry, yes, he is. Indeed. Dear me.
Everybody's finished, and I wonder if we'll be seeing the.
I might be finished after that one, I think.
We might see the donuts come out, but the finishing order's on your screen. And we'll see how many interviews we can get tonight before we go off air. But Jack Sedgwick wins. Wojciech Sabinovic only 32 thousandths of a second away in the end. Pete Newman completes the podium, but is the Pro-Am champion as well. Pete Howard in 4th, Jason Cooper in 5th, David Von Breck, one of his best finishes of the season, up in 6th. Then Ross Balfour and Ross McFarlane. It was the two Rosses that went at it for the title, but it was McFarlane in 8th that finished as the champion ahead of Balfour in the end. Nathan Davis 9th for Hesketh Racing and 10th for Ben Palmer. 11th for Dave Baker, Craig Williams in 12th, Tim Greven in 13th, 14th for Sean Gardner, 15th for John Roberts, 2 boosted cars there. Mark Woodhouse in 16th place, he was making some decent moves in race 2 in particular. Jake Blackhall 17th, Adam Hedgecock in 18th, 19th for Matt Bunn, and Jack Stiles completing the top 20 there. Michael Evdoka, his teammate, in 21st, then Luke Cooper, Lee Berridge in 23rd, Simon Field, another boosted colleague there in 24th place. And then Adam Hadfield in 25th. Not sure what happened to Josh Thompson to make him finish so far down there in 26th. Kip Stevens 1 lap down. We saw George Simmons also get lapped towards the end. A lot of damage on the SDK gaming car. Mark Johnston, 29th, buried in the tyres after a collision with Kip at turn 1. 30th for Ben Gregory. And then Tyler Vickery, 31st. 32nd, Rob Graham. His car was bent after the collision with the was it the Craig setup shop car trying to force its way through on the apron. Jamie Rushworth out very early on. He collided with his own teammate. He went straight into the back of Ash Sutton.
Yeah, apologies everyone. Yeah, Ross McFarlane won out in the end. I think I just got a bit carried away with the all the excitement of the finish there, and yeah, sorry about that, guys. But yeah, it's Ross McFarlane that's won in the end, and well, we're going to be able to get a word with both of them, in fact.
No,
Ross McFarlane joins us in the commentary box. Ross, well, welcome to the commentary box once again, mate. And we do believe that you have won the title. Congratulations, and obviously it's pending the stewards and things like that. But as long as you haven't done anything dubious, you should be fine.
Yeah, thanks, guys. No, it is pending stewards, but I was pretty safe that whole meeting. I'm very happy. I'm really satisfied with that. I think I'd have to say, first of all, cheers to Ross for the finale battle. I think he was a bit unlucky in quali. He got caught up in a little incident, but no, that finale went as good as it could go for me. So that was brilliant.
When you come into this meeting at Daytona, I mean, we know from previous seasons how it can be a bit of a lottery and sometimes can be quite controversial, quite fractious out there. Like, did you have a strategy in mind, or was it just literally to just take every lap as it comes and see where you were?
I think the strategy was qualify as high as possible. Qualifying didn't go perfect, but we were in that top group, so it was okay. And just do as well as possible in the race one, because that's where you're going to get those little bonus points for the podium positions. And yeah, I mean, I had Michael Evdoka, my teammate, helping me out. Just being a wingman and to take the win in the first race was just a leap I needed, especially with Balfour with having a poor qualifying, unfortunately. And then yeah, race 2 was race 2 and 3 is all about survival, and there was some hairy moments in there. I think I said someone earlier it was like slalom skiing around crashed cars, just trying to not get involved in anything. But luckily I managed it, and yeah, I can't believe it.
Well, it was third for you a couple of seasons ago, and you are a teams champion, of course. And what does this mean to you after like many, quite a few seasons of trying now?
Oh, it means so much. I mean, 2 years in a row, I've come third, and I've just steadily climbed my way up the order, the standings. And when we swapped to the TCR, everything's kind of reset. The slate's wiped clean, and the Winter Series, okay, that was a poor performance in general, but this whole summer ARL season has just been it's been fantastic. I felt really strong through about the second half of the season. Something just clicked, something changed, and I was able to be up in that top 3 far more consistently. And I've always driven fairly safely. I try to keep out the incidents, try to stay away from the steward's office, and just everything went to plan this season, and I just it means so much. Yeah.
Well, Sam Fitzpatrick brings the hammer down hard, so I don't blame you staying away from the steward's office on that one. But am I right that in when you joined this league, you probably didn't quite realise how to navigate these long seasons?
Well, exactly. I came from mainly racing on Assetto Corsa. I wasn't really that into iRacing, and I made the investment. I made the change to go to iRacing, and with these BSRTC back in the day, and then ARL grids, it's just a completely different kettle of fish. It's nothing like anything else out there, and you just have to learn the ropes. We've seen great drivers come in and just fail. It's such a different challenge, and to go year by year and just get better and better at doing it. And finally, I don't consider myself the fastest guy out there, but just to put it all together for a longer season, it's so satisfying, and no, I'm really proud.
Well, just before we let you do your shout outs and things like that, Ross Balfour is going to be standing by with Adam in just a minute or so. But what does it mean to have him as a competitor in the final rounds? Because you two have been very evenly matched.
Oh, it's been fantastic. I mean, Ross is a top driver. I've known of Ross for many years, even from back in the Assetto Corsa days. I remember seeing him, and he's in an established team with Core. He's consistently fast every single week, and to be able to go up against someone like that, and as well, I must note Jack Sedgwick as well. These are the guys who are just the best in this car, and it takes a lot to overthrow them. But no, it's fantastic to be racing against them.
Great, and well, before we let you go and celebrate, maybe with a little bit of the bubbly, we're going to let you do your shout-outs to your team, your sponsors, your friends and family, whoever, mate, whoever.
Well, I'd just like to say huge thanks to TechSense FitzDye for taking me into this series with them, and a big thanks to Michael and Jack, are my teammates for this season. We weren't sure what we were getting into. We didn't know whether we were going to be contending for much, but we've come close to winning the teams. We've managed, hopefully, to win the drivers, and huge thanks to them. I want to say thanks to you guys for the continued coverage of this series just throughout the years. It's been so entertaining to watch, and we're glad that you're able to bring that history with the commentary as well, and it just makes it very, very entertaining for viewers. And I would like to say thanks to all my previous teams as well, my previous teammates. It's all a learning experience with all those drivers to get to this point. So yeah, huge thanks to everybody.
Well, you'll have a laugh at the end of the race then, because I called the wrong champion. So we've done I've done a fantastic job with that at the end. But we're going to let you go, Ross. So congratulations again, mate. And It's been a long time coming, but I'm sure you'll enjoy it.
Thanks.
Well, Adam is with Ross Balfour, who put up a great fight today.
From one Ross over to another. Welcome to the commentary box, mate. And it was a very entertaining evening to watch from our perspective, watching you fly through the field, and especially from a one-man team effort like yourself. What does it feel like to get second place in the championship standings, despite all those hurdles?
To be honest, if I was offered second at the start of the season, I would have bitten your arm off. I joined the season like a day before. I was actually on the reserve list for round 1, and someone dropped out, and I got on the grid. So to even be contending in the last round was pretty amazing. And to do it just by myself every week, not really knowing if you're on pace, not really knowing the kind of what setup changes to make, kind of just going with your own feeling. And it's happy enough to even be in the shout for the final round. And I got unfortunate in qualifying. I don't know if you guys caught it with the incident that happened in quali, which kind of, I think I knew then and there I wasn't really going to win the overall standings without something pretty crazy happening. I got pretty unfortunate in the race, getting hit in almost every turn 1, so I had damage essentially for the full duration of the round. But I think I'm probably speaking for most of the grid who were damaged just the way the iRacing damage model is at the minute. We raced there last season in the Winter Series and it was fine. You were able to like tap and bump and rub. I think this current model needs some refinements for next year, hopefully.
What was it like in terms of the straight line speed? I think we spoke to Josh Thompson before at the end of the previous week, and he was saying that he was expecting the Audi to be bouncing off the limiter. Was it like that for you?
Yeah. So we were bouncing off the limiter at the end of the straight. So I was getting past kind of on the way to max speed because we were maxing out. It was actually fortunate for me when I had damage, so I wasn't actually losing too much time. By the time we got to max speed, I was slower getting there, obviously with the damage to the car. But I think overall, I'm happy enough with second, as I say, and the congratulations to Ross as well. He drove fantastically. He never really put a fit wrong. Never really saw him in the gravel or facing backwards when he just kind of had a really clean race. And I think big congratulations for him to putting a really smooth showdown together as well. So I'm happy enough with second. I also want to say congratulations to Jack Cedric. I don't know what Ross was saying, but I think I speak for everyone on the grid when I say Jack probably deserved this title more than anyone. He was so much quicker than everyone. I think he's the yardstick in the car, and I'm happy that I was able to get, be on pace with him. Towards the end of the season, it's something I really wouldn't even be considered I would be able to do maybe a year or two ago.
What would you say your highlight of the season was? I know there's plenty of races in this season. It's easy to forget them, but yeah, if you had to single out one moment.
I think my win at Interlagos was really satisfying. I think I knew I was really quick that round, and I was on pole by about 3/10 of a second, and I knew I had the pace, and I pulled a good pass, a rare clean battle with Ashley Sutton, where I actually got by and were able to take the win. So that was satisfying. I took another couple of wins here and there, and I think my qualifying was good as well. I think I had 5 poles in the season, so I'm happy that I was able to, on one lap pace alone, I'm able to get there. I think I still need to work on my racecraft a little bit to kind of be up with the best of the best, but I think that's next season I can hopefully get there.
Great. Well, before we let you go, do you want to send a quick shout out to anyone? I know you have listed a few people there, but anyone else you'd like to thank?
Yeah, big thanks to obviously Core Sim Racing, and also big shout out to Craig Williams and the guys who have been kind of in TeamSpeak with all the way through the season. It's been good crack, kind of not just being there by yourself and being able to have a laugh while we go as well. And thanks to Oscar Mangan as well for spotting me tonight. That made a big difference in calling all the wrecks. I was just unfortunately unable to avoid some of them. That's just down to my own bad driving. And also thanks to you guys as well for putting on the show every Thursday. It makes it a lot more interesting to watch back, and it's a good spectacle, hopefully, for everyone watching at home as well.
Well, we've already enjoyed it, and yeah, second place, still a remarkable achievement. Hopefully, you'll be back next season to potentially go on better. Let's wait and see. But yeah, for now, Ross, thanks for taking the time to come and speak to us, and yeah, well done this season.
Cheers, guys. See you next year.
Cheers, Ross. And great battle between the two Rosses. I got it right in the end, Adam. A Ross did win. So, I mean,
yeah,
wasn't far off, was it? I think we'll get the boosted boys in, right?
Yeah, there is an argument going on apparently in that interview room. So be careful who you pick.
I'm going to try. Well, any F words are not our responsibility, ladies and gentlemen. But we've got Lee Berridge and Adam Hedgecock in the commentary box. Good evening, gentlemen.
Hello.
I'll start with you first, Adam. And well, how did you find it out there? The title decider, the finale is always a bit of a hectic meeting, and especially when it finishes under the lights.
It's a lot of fun coming here. We know that we're going to get fireworks at the end of race 3, and it's you just kind of build yourself up for well, more so than ever, just keeping it clean, just trying to do a job. Like the rest of the season, you go out and have a bit of fun and try and get the best results you can. But this one, every season it's the same. You have something in mind, and you just kind of focus on getting a particular job done, which makes it a bit tougher. But it's it was good fun tonight. A lot of good fun.
Well, Lee, over to you. We saw, I think you got sort of maybe punted slightly at the turn 1 in one of the races, and well, probably the last race, was it? And
yeah,
like you had a bit of a fight on your hands tonight, I think.
Yeah, I don't know if I've got some enemies going on tonight. I don't know if there was tactics to try and knock Boosted back, and I don't know what for, but yeah, it's been a cracking season. Last 4 races for me have been a write-off. Tonight, I think I finished last in every race, and I was at the back by lap 2 in the final one. Bearing in mind I was 4th on the grid. I think if this series is going to progress, I think there's a certain number of drivers, and they know who they are. They've got to change their act a little bit. There's a vast majority of this field that I absolutely love racing side by side with, and some of the top drivers, and they race fair, firm but fair. There's others that just, their car's wounded. I suffered with that tonight by a few cars.
Well,
but
I will say, just to butt in on you a little bit, we've covered the series for 6 years now. Myself and Adam have, and Sam for probably the last 3 or 4, and it is. We see the same things that you see, so don't. We're not. Should I say we're not blind to what goes on? So yeah. Just to sort of reiterate that, I think. I mean, I've raced in the series before. Adam has as well, and the vast majority of the drivers are clean.
Yeah, and that's what I want to
reiterate.
Some
drivers don't know where the limit is, sadly, but.
And it's difficult because it is a fantastic series. I won't knock it. It's fantastic to race in. It really tests you, and I've improved by being here. And I don't want to put off anyone for joining it and starting, because there are a vast majority that are extremely supportive. Other members of other teams that will talk through setup guides and stuff like that. So, it is pretty good in the general. It's just there's the odd few. Yeah, and I'd agree, and that's why I come back. I had last season out, maybe 2 seasons. But because I'd got into that place where I just thought, I don't want to do this. I can't deal with the pressure of it. And I feel a little bit like that tonight. But
you need a motivational speech, don't you?
I do. I need one of Hedges' motivational speech. That's what picked me up mid-season. It wasn't the car. It wasn't my driving. It was Hedge. Let's put it out there.
He did the Bill Pullman in Independence Day and rallied the troops and got.
Oh no, that didn't have a patch on Hedge.
Everybody going.
If we were in the same room, he would have lumped me one.
You punched the president? No, it wasn't the president then. But hey, look, boys, it's always a pleasure to have you in the commentary box. It always has been all year, and are you going to be back next year, both of you?
Yes.
Next season? Sorry, not next year. Next season.
We've got a championship to defend.
We've finished pending penalties. Boosted 1-2 in the AM or the Pro-Am team championships. And,
I'll be honest, we wouldn't have been able to work that out. So thank you for that, because
there you go.
We were struggling with the maths tonight. That's for sure.
We done that. SimSport and MoSport 1-2, which was pretty epic. And then
well done.
myself and Simon 2 and 3 in the AMs. So
no wonder people were out to get you. Then you're too good.
Well, I don't know. We got a fair way to go to catch up Mr. Newman.
He did a great job.
Pro?
A little bit pro for an AM.
I'm sure we'll kick him into the pro category for next year. Boys,
well done to him, though.
thank you very much for joining us once again. We are running a little short on time, so I want to get to Josh and Tyler if we can. But yeah, again, gents, an absolute pleasure. Congratulations. Go and get your bubbly and go and enjoy.
No, thank you guys. Great season. Well done.
Cheers, guys. Right then, Adam, I think we're going to have to speed through these fairly quickly, but Josh Thompson is going to be with you now.
Hello, Josh.
All right.
Well, things didn't go your way tonight. Well, things started off well, I must admit. Race 1, qualified on pole position, and things were okay there. He drifted a little bit back, I think, towards the end, but then things didn't go to plan at all in race 2. There was the incident at the bus stop chicane, am I right?
Yeah, it was lap 1. They all checked up on the inside and all started like tripping over each other. I went around the outside because they were all really slow on the inside. As we came back onto the banking, I was alongside Cooper, and Cooper just left me no room at all and just shoved me down. I had to go down the escape. I had to go down the apron, and with the rules, I didn't want to rejoin like an idiot and take half the grid out or something like that. So I just had to fall back into the back of the queue, which then lost all the ground I gained at the start of the race. And obviously seeing where Mike finished, I think it was like P8, and I was in front of him, which is a bit frustrating.
And then race 3 didn't get much better, really. Ended up finishing in 26th, but from what we're seeing on the replays here at the moment, you're right in the thick of the action. Did something happen after that?
Yeah, someone got collected behind, and obviously hit the grass and just cannoned me basically in one of the hairpins, which is a bit unfortunate. But end of the day, at that point, it was just racing for a bit of fun.
Overall, then, from your perspective, I know it was a disappointing way to end the championship, as we've just, oh dear, I've just actually seen it. Somebody's just on the stream. That's the first time I've seen that. It's the Automet car, isn't it? That is sideways and then takes you with him into the tyre barrier. Overall, though, you managed to make it to the showdown and was still in with a very decent shout at the championship going into this final round. So that must give you a cause for optimism going into the following seasons if you're going to compete.
Well, to say how rocky the start of the season was for me, I was like 30th, 25th in the points till like mid-season, which was nice to even make it into the showdown. Obviously, I knew if I made it in the showdown, you restart, you go again. Obviously, started the showdown really well into Lagos. Didn't really have the pace at Suzuka. Bathurst was unlucky. Tonight, I felt like I had a lot of pace in the car. Race 1 kind of blew it for me. Mike tapped me in turn 1, lap 3. It damaged the left-hand side of the car, and it killed like 3-4 Ks top speed. So I couldn't actually get an overlap at any point. So then at that point, I just dropped back. But no, I think from the first season back in something like this, after taking about a year, 2 year out of it, I can't really complain. Say I was in it till the end, basically.
Great. Well done on the season. It was great to watch you anyway, and thanks for taking the time to come and speak to us, Josh. Before we let you go, do you want to send a quick shout out to anyone?
Yep, you guys again for the broadcasting. It's been great all season. All the admins for doing all the work, all keeping all the points up to date, like tonight with each race. Carl Moore for being my spotter or through the showdown. Can't thank him enough. Just shame it didn't really pay off in the end. Craig for paying my entry and sponsoring me for the series and stuff like that. Can't thank him enough. And then obviously everyone at Williams and all the sponsors.
There we go. Well done, Josh, and thanks for taking the time to come and speak to us. And all the best for next season.
Cheers, guys.
Well, thanks to Josh Thompson once more for joining us, and I think the final victim of the season is going to be Tyler Vickery. Well, Tyler, welcome into the commentary box, a familiar place for yourself once more, and well, take us through your meeting at Daytona, because it felt like you were having a good scrap, especially I think in that final race, but then it seemed to go to pot about halfway through.
Yeah, that race was a little bit of a mess. I just was having a good fight with Tetchcock, made a mistake in the bus stop, and had a little bit of front end damage after I made contact with him. Later on, I was running with Simmons and Benjamin Gregory, and all three of us have already talked about it. We were laughing. Apparently, with tire compared to real life, apparently the tire barriers are real and solid. So instead of being able to shove them out of the way, instead the tires decided to completely eat the car. That was how race 3 ended for me, unfortunately. But race 1 and 2, Oh my goodness, that was some fun racing. I'm actually was surprised I was able to get in the top 20, knowing how much of a draft track this is, especially for the road course side, and this being my home track. I was happy with those 2 runs because I figured if I can keep all of the momentum up from the last few weeks I've been able to run, that if I can keep this up, I can really give myself some confidence going into next season.
Well, it's been good to see you fighting in the midfield more often, and I think this is your first full season in the championship, isn't it? I think you've done part season before, have you?
I think I've done. I try to do a full season for the Kias for 2 years, but one of the years I got caught up with just starting at Full Sail, so I wasn't able to make it to most of them. But right now with all of this going on, this has actually been the first time I've been able to go a full season. Granted, I missed 2 rounds due to just being actually, hilariously enough, legitimately in Daytona Beach for other racing aspects that have been going on. So yeah, those are my only 2 times I have not. I mean, other than that, I was here for the whole entire season, so I was happy with how well I was able to run this season.
Well, it's been great to see you improving and getting on with the car well, and but we are just about nearly out of time, so if we can, before you go, first of all, will you be back next season? And secondly, will you give us a shout out to your sponsors and things like that, team?
Yeah, I'm already planning on trying to get back into it, especially seeing how well I did this season. So I'm looking forward to next season, and shout out to you guys for the broadcast and everything. And then I'm giving a special shout out to George, because ever since with them setting up the Apex for the Academy, I've been working with them, and I've gotten a lot more improvements from them and learned more and more from them. So I'm really looking forward to it. So special shout out to all the guys for Apex Academy, and I'm really happy with where I've been at and growing, and I can't wait for next season.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much, Tyler. Always a pleasure, and we'll see you next time.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Right then, Adam, here we are again, mate. Another season comes to its close, and an exciting one. I mean, we haven't had many seasons where we've had that many people with a chance at the championship going into the final round.
No, it wasn't. We really had no idea who was going to be involved in that one. And that was only partly because we didn't have the point standings, Sam. But yeah, a brilliant drive by everybody throughout the whole season, and yeah, in the end, it was Ross McFarlane that took it, and it could have been anyone going into that those final few races, but some drivers fell by the wayside, like Josh Thompson. You had to feel for him there, but in the end, it was between the 2 Rosses, and McFarlane was able to just about edge Ross Belfort to the title. So yeah, well done to him. Well done to Pete Newman as well in the Pro-Am title, and the teams as well that have won the Teams Championship and the Pro-Am Teams Championship as well.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of those guys will be back again. I expect Thompson to be back, and who knows, maybe he'll bring some of his Williams Esports buddies with him, and that would be quite something, I'm sure. Spare a thought as well for Wojciech Swiderowicz, Adam. He finished the season very strongly indeed, and very nearly picked up the final win of the season.
Yeah, he did, and we've seen him in the past have those photo finishes at this circuit, and he was only 32 thousandths of a second away there in the end. But the start to the Showdown wasn't particularly great for Woj, and that's where he's been so strong in the past. So I'm sure he'll be hoping to improve on that if he comes back next season.
Well, a fantastic champion, a 6-time champion has been dethroned, but the 1-time champion and new champion in Ross McFarlane has been crowned. And we saw him do that in great fashion here tonight. So from all of us here who's covered the championship throughout the season, from Adam, from Sam, and from myself, and from everybody on the iRacing Esports Network and Apex Racing TV, we're so happy that you made us a part of your Thursday nights. I'm sure we'll be back in a few weeks with another season, but in the meantime, please give the videos a like, give them a share, give them a subscribe to the iRacing Esports Network and to Apex Racing TV. And in the meantime, from all of us here, it's goodbye from Daytona, and Ross McFarlane is your driver's champion. Good night.